Sweet, man. Thanks for making it.
Yeah, what's up?
Awesome.
How are you?
How are you? Good. What's going on? How are you?
Good, man.
Awesome.
As bad as I was putting quarters in for gas.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Just to keep it running.
Oh, just to keep
So
the
what did you-
content
what-
coming. I remember my charger, I would eat like ramen noodles to build this car.
Okay, I was going to ask you, what were you eating during that time when you were putting everything into the car? You were probably living on nothing and throwing it into the ride.
You're like, well, like, you can't afford that, when you come from a low income family. And, then I got older and I started thinking, like, if you really want something, you can do it. Why limit yourself to saying you can't do something?
All right. Well, good morning and welcome to the first episode of Me and My Motor. Super happy to get us kicked off here at MOTORMIA with a YouTube channel to talk about not just cars, but the people behind the cars, the stories that they had to tell about building their mods and the adventures and the journeys they've been on. I'm super delighted to be here with Justin Thompson.
Yeah, it's nice to be here, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you being here. And let's just get started with you. Tell me a little bit about where you're from. We're here in Scottsdale, Arizona, but where are you from? And a little bit about how you got started in modern cars.
I mean, I've lived in Arizona my whole life. Growing up, I didn't have a lot of money, but we'd always go to the races. We'd go to PIR with the little bit we had, whether it was saving money or, somehow we came up with it. We'd go do the little we could. And I've always wanted to build cars, but it was always like a pipe dream to kind of do it. You're like, well, like, you can't afford that, when you come from a low income family. And, then I got older and I started thinking, like, if you really want something, you can do it. Why limit yourself to saying you can't do something? So, in Arizona, there's a lot of people who really, they don't want to go get it. So a lot of people that I know, they're not go-getters. And so I was like, well, I want to be different. I want to put Arizona on the map where people know that,
Nice.
This is what we do out here.
Nice.
So when I turned about 19, that's when I started getting into cars. And I remember I built my first car. First I saved $5,000. I started flipping cars and I took my first flip money and I bought my charger. And from there,
Nice.
I mean, I shouldn't have done it, but I built my whole charger paycheck to paycheck. I lived on it. And, every Friday I would get paid and I would drop it into the car, whether I was buying seats, a motor, parts, whatever it was. And I was like, well, if I'm going to do this, why don't I make a TikTok? I see people doing dance videos. They're doing things that, I wouldn't even think would get views. And I said, well, if they're doing things like this, why don't I post my car?
Yeah.
So I started posting all my builds and
Nice.
it blew up from there.
Nice.
And so I kept getting people who were like saying, oh, it's an inspiration to see this. And I've actually had people who call me and they're like showing me cars from the auction and they're buying them because of mine. And they're asking me to help them build it. So I'm sitting there building it with them, but over FaceTime. And
Nice.
then, so from there, it even pushed me even more to want to keep doing it. And, I remember my charger, I would eat like ramen noodles to build this car.
Okay, I was going to ask you, what were you eating during that time when you were putting everything into the car? You were probably living on nothing and throwing it into the ride.
It was as bad as I was putting quarters in for gas.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Just to keep it running.
Oh, just to keep the content
what
coming.
work did you do?
I was just flipping cars and then I actually worked at UPS.
All right, good. So you were doing something. I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting. One of our, we're a new startup company and we just did one of our values, and one of our values is resourcefulness. And I think you probably epitomize what resourcefulness looks like, particularly in those early years. I mean, you said it earlier, your dad didn't buy you this car.
You know what? Everybody thinks my dad bought me this car. I went to Fuel Fest and I had somebody walk by and they were like, oh, I follow him on TikTok. His dad bought him that car. And you know what? My dad lives on disability. He hasn't worked in 30 plus years.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
You know what? It's just some problems he has. But, when people say my dad bought it, it hits different because it's like, I wish my parents could have bought it, but I don't. Because if my parents bought me it, then I would have never been where I am today. Because buying my own stuff taught me how to live life and how to get things on your own.
Good for you.
When people say my dad bought it, I actually take it as a compliment because it's like, you're kind of hating.
I got here.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, you could say my mom and dad bought it, but that just gives me a compliment to say I did something right.
Yeah, that's cool. And your dad, I think you mentioned your dad was taking you around to the races and stuff.
Yeah, he would take me out.
He's still part of the inspiration.
Oh yeah, he would take me out to PIR, man, and yeah. So
tell me about PIR. I don't know because I'm not from around here.
Oh, PIR is a raceway, so they'll have a racetrack. Or they'll race cars out there all the time. They have drag cars, whatever it is, a lot of different things.
Nice.
And so I'd go out there and I'd see people racing. They'd have all these built cars. They'd have somebody had a built Camaro, like a 1969 Camaro. They'd have 1962 Impalas all done up. They'd be out there doing it. And I was like, I just want to be that one day. And then that one day I woke up and I was like, man, I'm tired of working at UPS. I'm tired of having to go to work for somebody. And so I worked there for 3.5 years and then I quit. I said, you know what? This is a risk I'm going to take. I'm going to do social media, see where it takes me. I mean, I think I've been doing pretty good for myself.
So we'll talk about this in a second, but really almost sounds like cars were sort of your road out, like your road ahead in some very real way.
Before I even knew it. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, it was all a pipe dream up until I just said, well, I can do it. If they can do it, anybody could. Why limit yourself?
Cool, man. I'm inspired just talking to you already, man. That's really cool.
Really.
So Charger was the first car. I think you just told me you're now working on a new Charger, but tell me what's going on here. We got your car right here in the MOTORMIA shop. So what's happening here?
Man, so this is a 2012 Chrysler 300. It's a SRT with a 6.4. You know what, man? When I seen it, I've actually never liked 300s. It sounds weird because I own one, but I like them now.
Yeah, of course.
When I, building cars, I never actually knew what an SRT was. I've always seen the V6 ones or the ones with the 5.7 HEMIs. And I'm just like, they're not appeasing to me. I just don't like them.
Yeah.
And then I figured out what an SRT8 was. And it was
so tell everybody else what that is because everybody else may not know.
So an SRT8, they make the first gen and then they make these ones. So from 2005 to 2010, the SRT8s came with a 6.1 liter HEMI. And then from 2012 to 2014, they came with the 6.4s, which are now what the Scat Packs have from 2015 up.
Got it.
So these are like the pre-Scat motors.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I found out what those were, I mean, I love them, but SRT8s they're kind of hard to get a hold of. An old one, about like 2006 or 2007, they still go for about 12 to 15 grand.
Okay.
So they're worth a lot of money. And so I remember I seen this one at the auction and I was like, I want that one.
Right.
And everybody wanted it. And I pulled some strings and I made it happen. Cool. And I said, I want that one. And ever since I built it, at first it was kind of like, everybody's like, oh, it's ugly, it's junk. And I'm like, one man's junk is another man's treasure. I said, this is mine, man. I kept looking at it every day. I was like, it doesn't look good, but I know what it's going to look like. Every day I'd look at it, had no bumper, had no headlights, had this, had a different tire. And I'm like, man, this thing's ugly.
But you'd already been working with like manifesting your vision for cars already. So you could see what others couldn't see.
Yeah. Well, and so this one, I just completely changed it, man. It had a white grill. It was all, so whoever had it before just didn't take care of it. So this one, they actually, they only made, I believe, 4,000 of these in the U.S. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty for sure that's what it was.
All right.
And they actually don't make them anymore. So they don't brand them SRT8 anymore. This is a 2012.
2012, okay.
Yeah. So they stopped branding SRT8 in 2014. Then they went to, so it was the SRT8, but I think the Challengers, they went to SRT.
Okay.
And then 15 up is all SRT.
All right.
So this one's worth some money because they don't make them anymore. So the prices just keep going up on them every day.
But you're not getting rid of it.
Never.
It's not on the market. So it's not worth anything, really. Yeah, it's worth $1 million to you, but you got to keep that thing.
Yeah.
So I know you told me you wouldn't give me your secret mods from your build.
A real builder doesn't give up his secrets.
There you go. I love that. But what's your favorite mod on this car right now?
I want to say the hood, but I think it's just the motor. The way it sounds, I could fall asleep to how it sounds.
Made this place rumble when you came in.
Well, I could literally just put headphones in and have a video looping of my exhaust and just fall asleep to it. Cool. So I would think it'd be that.
You mentioned the hood earlier, though, so I need to talk to you about that. So tell me the story of the guy in the hood almost getting in a car wreck because of the hood. Man,
there's countless people every day. It's a head turner. A lot of people always ask me questions about it, or they always look in traffic. And I've had several encounterments where I'm in traffic and people were looking over, almost getting in car accidents. And so about 2 months ago, I was driving back home from Phoenix, and I'm sitting in traffic, and it's traffic to where you can go like car to car so far.
Yeah.
And this guy's he had been going 35, 40 miles an hour, and he sticks his whole head out of his window, and he goes back. And the car in front of him, he had to barely miss it by a hair. He just slammed on his brakes, and he had to barely miss it. And I'm like, was it worth it? Yeah, but no. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I always tell people, like, I need to put a sticker on there that says don't look back.
Yeah, don't
just look in your mirror, man. It's not worth it.
Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
So that's great. I love the story you're starting. I think that's so inspiring. And so that was when you were 19.
Yeah.
You took that big step. How many, and I know you wouldn't tell me before, but how many cars do you have now?
I probably have about 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
I have some project cars, but ones that are actually the main ones, probably 7.
7.
Yeah.
Would you say, I mean, you're on this journey. You're young. You got a lot of cars to mod in your life, right? And a lot of other people with their dreams.
Too many cars, but not enough time.
There you go. So many cars, but so little time. That might be the title of this episode,
hey,
right?
That'd be a good one.
Right now, is there a car you'd love to just get your hands on and start working on? Like
the ones I own, or
just any car?
I want
to dream.
A 1962 Impala SS or a 69 Charger.
A 69 Charger or a 1962
Impala SS. Yeah, I'm not really. Everybody wants all these newer modern cars, McLarens. They want Lamborghinis, and I want an old school because it'd be different. If you be like everybody else, then what good is? Where's the fun in life?
I heard somebody say that. Everybody wants to be different, just like everybody else.
Be the leader, not a follower.
There you go. Yeah, be the only one of you.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I've learned.
You're definitely living that dream right now.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, if you try to be like everybody else, you'll never make it. You got to be different. You got to be the black sheep of the crowd.
That's right.
So you stand out.
Yeah, be your own color for sure. Well, that's cool. And your dad's still around?
Yep.
He's digging in the cars?
Oh, my dad loves the cars, man.
Love it.
Yeah, he likes to tell everybody it's his little race car. He tries to beg me to take it out to make his neighbors mad, and I'm like, I don't want them to egg my car.
Yeah, right.
I was like, no.
And any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters.
They into the cars with you? No. They like it? No.
Unfortunately,
it's your thing.
I've tried to get my little brother into cars. He's 19. Won't get into it.
All right.
My sister, she's a girl. They're not into it. Nobody's into cars but me.
All right.
Yeah, my uncle's into cars. That's the only one.
All right, cool. So is your dad getting you out to the races and then you just saying, I got to do this. I got to make it happen. Do you remember what it was that was it a drag racing? Was it a stock car? What was it that first kind of made you go, I got a dream on that car?
Honestly, it wasn't. Looking at cars they don't really impress me. It's all of
hear
them. Not even when you hear them, when you learn about them and you learn how to build them.
I see.
When you learn about the car and you wrap your head around what it has and how to build it, that's what makes me fall in love with them.
Right.
The appearance is nice, but then when you really get into the car and you start doing research on it, that's when I really oh wow, that's even better than when I seen it.
Right.
But
so weird question here, and maybe there's not a right answer, but do you like working on them or driving them better?
Man. Well, I like working on them until they make me mad, but I also like driving them. So it goes both ways. I'd say I like driving it more than working on it, but I also like working on it more than driving it because it's I get to sit there and nobody bothers me. I can just do whatever I want to my car and make it better,
Have you ever had I guess we call it a Frankenstein moment in the garage, where things just went terribly wrong?
Yeah, I built a whole motor. I built a 6.1, and I did everything good, and then something happened to where, I took the cheap way out on one part, and messed up the whole car, and I had to rebuild it again.
All right,
but Frankenstein builds, I built them out of a yard in the dirt. I guess they're all Frankenstein builds in a sense.
So tell me about that. You've got a shop right now.
Yeah.
You're busy. You said you got a backlog of people that want you to work on their cars.
Couple months back at least, man.
Couple months back. That's cool. You're moving inside sometime here soon, which is sweet. Make sure we know about it so we can tell people to get over there. You like working on other people's cars?
No.
You're about your.
I don't want to be a mechanic. I don't want to work on anybody else's car. But my own. But I do it because it's I need money. So but
you're an entrepreneur.
It's always better to work on your own cars. Why do you want to sit there in 2 days and work on somebody's car? Even though it pays when you could be working on your fun car, but
on your fun car for sure.
But fun doesn't pay. So,
and you know how to work hard. That's for sure. I can.
Yeah.
That's great. How about when you're in the shop? You said you do a lot of this stuff alone. I know you probably have people you work with, but do you have a modding buddy? Do you have a partner?
Well, it's actually just me and my uncle who do it.
You and your uncle?
Yeah.
Okay.
We own the whole shop, John.
John?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, no, we don't have employees or anybody, so it's just me and him. We do all the swaps, everything together.
Does he work on you with your car as well?
Yeah, we do it together.
Modding buddy.
Yeah. He's
so next time we do this, we're having him come down.
I can see if he wants to be on camera.
Yeah, we'll see if he wants to. You're more used to being on camera, obviously, but I love that having you got a family member working on cars. Yeah, it's probably great for you guys.
Oh, he's the brains of everything. He's actually, I always tell him he's good enough to where he can actually work at a dealer or be a car builder because he's taking cars and strip them down to bare metal and rewire them, new gas lines, everything. Wow. He just does it like that.
So was he kind of like your mentor?
I learned everything from him.
Wow.
Little by little, I actually started going around him when I was about 18, 19, and I'd watch him build these cars and change these motors. And I'm just I like this. And if I'm going to be here every day, I might as well take something in with it. Yeah. And all the knowledge he has, he's been doing it for 20 plus years. You know, he's a Chevy guy, but he knows everything about cars. He's the guy who knows just everything. You can't, there's no answer he can't answer.
Wow, that's cool.
Or no question he can't answer.
Yeah.
But so yeah, like if I don't know how to do it, he'll know how to do it. So it's just, we'll do the swaps and everything. He's like half the brains and I'm the other half, you know?
That's cool. So, yeah, I think that power of having a mentor in a process like this, I mean, you learned this on your own, but you had someone teach you too.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's super important.
Yeah. I've learned a lot on my own, but I've also learned a lot with him. And then, you know, seeing how hard he works and what he has only inspired me more to want to do that and be like that.
That's great.
You know, it's not having to work for somebody. It would be great. So I'd always watch him and say, you know what, like if you can do it, anybody could do it.
Yeah.
So
just got to put your mind to it.
Yeah.
And some grease.
Oh,
some elbow grease.
A lot of grease on that. Get your hands dirty. A lot of people are too scared to get their hands dirty.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of that going around, but you guys are builders like you are an inspiration for sure. So that's cool.
I've had a lot of people tell me they're inspired. You know, I've had countless people actually build their dream cars because they've seen me do a simple swap. And they send me throughout maybe 4, 5, 6 months, they'll send me a picture every day of them buying a new part, putting this in. And I'm like, that's just crazy.
So you never expected that though. I mean, you loved cars, you thought you'd get on Instagram and TikTok and do all this stuff. But did you ever expect you'd be like, you'd be having a relationship with other people and like inspiring people and getting to be part of a community like that?
No, because you know what? I was doing the car stuff before even TikTok. And so when I got on TikTok, I was doing it for fun. And then when people started saying that they're inspired by it and they're actually FaceTiming me and showing me them buying a car at the auction that they're going to build, I'm just like, this is crazy. And every day I go, you know, I can go to a gas station and somebody is like, oh, you know, I follow you on TikTok, Instagram, you're an inspiration. And it hits different. You know, the first couple of times you're like, wow, like, okay, it's a little weird. But then you get more people who keep saying it. It really hits you. Yeah. Sometimes it won't hit you in the moment, but it'll hit you like an hour later. You're like, wow, like I really inspired this many people to. Cool. And it's not like I'm crazy big or anything, but it's big enough to inspire somebody to build a whole car.
Yeah. Well, we're going to help tell your story now. So that's more people be inspired. I mean, I just love your beginnings. I mean, I think that's just so great that you went out and started small.
Yeah. Well, you got to start somewhere.
Work your butt off to get that first car.
I'm still small.
In this beauty.
Oh yeah, I know. It's I wake up every day and I look at it, but I'm still not to where I want to be. I got a long way to go. And
so what is next?
Well, you know what? If TikTok shuts down, like they have this whole big thing they're saying,
I know. We're not going to talk politics on this show.
No, I'm not even into politics, man. But I want to. Probably I'll move over to Facebook, or if they have like a new app, I just want to do something to where I can just put my content out there just for other people to see it. Right. To me, it doesn't really matter where it goes as long as people can enjoy
They're just
it.
Channels in the end.
Right. Yeah. So my biggest thing is I want to be able to open up my own shop, which I am getting the end of this year.
Great.
And I want to be able to actually do full swaps. Like I already do full swaps. I have a lot of people who ask me to swap their cars. You know, people from North Carolina, Texas, Minnesota, like all the east side and California too. They all want to bring their cars out here and they want to ship them. And they're willing to pay the money for me to swap a whole car. And I've done a couple of them, but it's hard to do it when you work in like the shop I have. It's all dirty. It's very like, it's not very clean. Yeah. So it's like to do it inside the shop is going to be great because I can bring endless cars. It's so much room where it's all inside. I can set them all up and I can work on one, you know, move over, you know, if this one, I'm waiting for a part, go to this. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, that's the biggest thing I want to do. And I actually just want to be able to, just make that a full thing, you know, and I'll just keep inspiring people to build their cars.
That's awesome.
And with me, it's like, I don't even charge people a lot of money to swap their cars because it's like, if I can do it cheap, I'm going to charge you cheap. It doesn't make sense, but I try to make sure everybody can have their car. Right. You know, because it's not about the money to me. It's just about building a car. You know, I don't even
that self-expression.
Yeah, I don't even do any of it for the money. I just record it and I'm like, if you enjoy it, that's all.
I had an old friend of mine say to me once, and I think you're totally a proof point, is that do what you love, the money will follow.
Oh yeah.
Right. Because if you're doing it for the money,
it's going to take too long.
And it's going to be empty. It's going to be an empty exercise.
I have so many friends who are on TikTok trying to be on every trend. If it's a dancing trend or a lip syncing trend, they're trying so hard to get out there. And I'm just like, you know, I'm not going to be your hater. I'll never hate on you. I'll tell you, keep doing your thing. But they tell me they're only doing it for money. And I've told them, I said, the money, it's going to take you 70 years. I said, because if you keep trying to do it for the money, it's never going to come. Right. And so I actually had a friend where she stopped doing it for the money and she gained like 20,000 followers. Yeah. And I told her, I said, just do it because you're fun. Yeah. They try too hard. I said, look, you're following every trend like everybody else. I said, do something different that nobody's done and you're going to go different. Yeah. And she didn't.
That's cool.
Took off. And I'm like, I can only give you the best advice, but if you do it for money, I can't help you.
I think I was going to ask you like one or two last questions, but I think you might ever give me the answer to one of my last questions, which is If you could tell your younger self one thing in your journey, what would it be? Like, would you have done anything different if you could do it over again?
Yeah, I wish I pushed myself harder.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't care.
So even though you come as far as you pushed hard, you want to push harder. You got to talk to our founder. He's like that.
Well, when I was younger,
hard.
When I was younger, I really didn't push myself. I was kind of just like, this is it, whatever. I live rent free with my mom.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, nah, this isn't the life I want to live. I said, you know, at the time I was 18, 19. And then I said, I want to be able to have my own house. You know, all my friends are 21, 22, and they live with their parents still. And I'm like, I don't want to be like that. Right. So I actually got my own house when I was 21.
Nice.
And, you know, I rented it. And so I was like, you know what? I just don't want to live with my mom. And even if I struggle, at least I'm struggling on my own. I'm not struggling to live with my parents.
Good for you.
But prior to that, I didn't push myself hard enough. I kind of just didn't care. If I had $20 in my pocket, I was comfortable.
Right.
And then when I started getting older, you know, I'm 22 now. I was just like, $20, I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable with any amount of money. I said, because I just want to push myself harder to get further in life.
Right.
So the answer, I would just wish I pushed myself harder.
Earlier.
Yep.
Yeah, and then now you can see the outcomes.
You know, a lot of my family they don't support what I do. So that's what made it hard for me to not push myself, because they'd always tell me, oh, don't do cars. It's always go to college, work a 9 to 5.
Fair enough.
If you don't go to college, you're never going to make it.
Well, I think I got lots of examples of that not being the case. And for some people, it's not for everybody. You don't, right? But
I always tell people, my brother goes to college.
Yeah.
If you know what you want, go to college. But if you know that you don't know what you want, there's no point in wasting your money. Yeah, but I'm all for college because I've seen so many successful people who go to college.
Well, you've got a professor living with you, and your uncle. Right? Yeah. I mean, you have your professor.
That's why that's why I wouldn't
find education anywhere in the world. Yeah. From a lot of experience.
Yep.
A lot of smart people out there that are standing right next to you sometimes. So.
But you know what? It feels good to be where I am today because I proved my family wrong, but they hate it. It's the best feeling ever. So that's why I keep going, because it's like I see them hate, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna keep doing it and make you hate more.
All right.
So yeah.
Cool. Well, that's great. I love it. This has been super cool. We're so happy that you came out and you got to tell us a little bit more of your story. I feel like I've gotten to know you a little bit better today. So thanks so much for being here.
Of course, man.
And let's do this. Let's take a little walk around your car. You can just show us what you love about it. I want to get a little closer look at that hood too.
Oh yeah, you can look at everything from top to bottom.
All right, man. Let's do it.
All right, man.
Cool. Show me what's going on. So this is the infamous hood.
Yep.
So talk to me about this.
You know what? I kind of just seen it and I liked it. I did spend a lot of money on it, and it's just my favorite thing. When it doesn't look that big from right here, but if you sit inside, it's massive.
Looking out over the top.
Oh yeah, it's massive. Like it doesn't look that big until you look inside.
Okay, I'll have to sit in if that's all right and check that out.
But
so when you got it, tell me what it looked like.
So when I got the car, the wheel was actually pushed back on that side. It had suspension damage.
Okay.
So I had to change out the fender because when the tire popped, it kind of just crumbled the fender.
Okay.
The door had a little dent right here, but I was like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna put body work into it. So I'm just gonna change the whole door. I found one for $100 on offer. Nice. So I just paint it, whatever. It's
resourceful, man. Yeah.
I'm not putting Bondo on a SRT.
No.
So. It had 4 piston calipers, which are the smaller ones. I bought those off of the Hellcat, so they have the Hellcat 6 pistons. I didn't even want to talk about how much that cost. That was ridiculous.
You had some ramen nights on that one, right?
One rotor's $1,000, and the Brembos cost me $1,500.
Okay,
so you got to think I need 2 rotors. That's $2,000. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the car, it was the same color, all white, but it was all scratched. It was terrible.
What auction did you get it at?
IA.
Okay.
Yeah. Insurance auto auction.
Yep.
So
nice.
It was all scratched. You know, they didn't take care of it. It was terrible. It was in the worst condition. So I repainted the whole car after I finished building it. I actually did a lot. I have a Corsa exhaust on it, full Corsa mid-pipe exhaust, long tube headers, cat delete.
Sweet. We're gonna get the parts list for this and do a Mia build.
Oh yeah. Oh,
everything but the secret stuff.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people look at it and they don't see like a lot of money, but I actually put a lot of money into it. It's all underneath the car, so the exhaust right there,
stuff you can't see.
The rear end.
Isn't that true about life, man? It's what you can't see that makes the difference.
Yeah. So
that's cool. Nice. It's beautiful. The back end's beautiful too, man.
And then I have my brand.
You got your brand right there.
Yeah, Yabani.
So tell me a little bit about your.
Yabani is actually my uncle. It's a whole long family joke where I guess so he's Filipino, but they'd always call me Yabani, make fun of him. You know, so he kind of took it like so many years. I'm like, then it stuck with him. And he's like, I'm Yabani Customs because we build stuff. I said, well, why don't we make it something?
Yeah, that's great.
So we made it. Yabani Custom
Yabani
LLC.
Customs, it's your uncle's name.
I said, well, why don't I help you get what you wanted? So we started making shirts, everything, and now the new business is going to be called Yabani Custom.
All right, I'll give you a story. It's not really for this guys, but when I was a kid, they called me Wig Dog.
Oh yeah, why?
And when I got, because I used to, 3 reasons. I can wiggle my ears.
Huh?
I had a little bit. I won't do it on camera. You know, I don't want to blow it up. I don't want it to go viral. Because I used to wiggle around a lot.
Yeah.
Because I was a little hyper, and then also because I liked American Preacher in the South.
So
the lady owns the brand. So first started as Eric Earwig.
My
But then later, years later, when I started my company, so I love that you just like, let's just take the nickname our company. Plus, it works for me.
Exactly, man. And I want to help other people get their things out there. So.
Cool. Cool. Can we take a quick look inside?
Oh yeah. Well, maybe I'll show you at the end. There's actually more underneath the hood.
All right. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Man, that'd be awesome. You can scoot in there. That'd be awesome. Just take a look, man. That is beautiful.
And then the seats all say SRT on them. It's great.
That is.
I wish I vacuumed it.
Oh, and you can even see from here that hood it is big, man. It's like looking out over what is it I'm thinking of? Like a giant,
like a cow hood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like a big old. Very cool. All right.
I'll go ahead and awesome. Let me pop the hood for you. I'll show you the goodies of underneath. I actually got to turn.
That's a good sound right there, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. I love it.
Pops.
So that's my favorite part, the light up valve covers. I actually want to wire it up. Oh, let me pause this. Sorry.
Does that happen every time you open the hood? The music starts.
Yeah,
it's a custom feature right there. I open up my hood and the music starts.
It gets excited, man. What can I say?
Secret feature.
That's the secret feature right there. You pop the hood, the music starts. I get a lot of bass going.
Yeah, right. So these 392 HEMI lights, I actually want to wire them up to where I can make them change between red and white.
Nice.
So if I have white LED, then cool. I can make it match the car.
Is that right? No, I don't have it all the way down.
There you go.
I get nervous around other people's cars.
Oh, it's okay, man.
That's cool. Nice. Awesome.
So yeah, that's really it. Unless you want to know what's inside.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, the inside, I won't give all the secrets, but it's pretty much a full built bottom end. It has a stage 3 Texas speed cam, Eagle rod assembly, Eagle crank. It has a lot, but I'm not going to say anymore. But that's enough for real car guys to know that it's not slow.
And you'll write us a list so we can do a build on it.
Yeah.
Just the straight build, not the
I'll give you the main priorities, the main parts of what it has. So that way you guys can set.
And definitely that hood.
Yep.
That's just absolutely the coolest
thing. That's like the biggest eye catcher.
Yep. Dude, if I had to name this car, I know what my name would be. What would your name be for this car?
White Ghost.
The White Ghost? You know what my name would be?
What?
The Stormtrooper.
So, you know what? I said that same thing one time.
If I had to name this car, it looks like a Stormtrooper.
I tried to get the license plate Stormtrooper one time, but I couldn't do it. So I was like, White Ghost.
Yeah, White Ghost. I love it.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of flaws in the front now because some girl backed into the front bumper and cracked it. But
it happens to people.
Yeah, so I got to get that fixed. But other than that,
all right. I think we're golden.